What's up, traders? Welcome back. Today, we've got a special guest for our trade recap. So I'm going to be going over my position on GbpChf. This was my only trade of this past week. I took the position on Wednesday. Today is Friday. It's 10:30 New York time, and I'm actually still holding a piece of this, very small piece, as we're filming this video. Now, I'm going to be closing this trade before we go into the weekend just to take the profit and then come into next week clean. But I think it's important for us to go back and look over this trade. I want to explain to you everything that I liked about it, what went into reading the risk reward, and then Riley's going to be here to ask some questions and make sure that we don't overlook anything. This is different for you. Are you excited to be here?
Always.
I think the community always finds value in the topics that we talk about, not just at the desk, but like in our podcast. So I think they'll find value in this.
Yeah.
If you guys like the video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe. Make sure you comment and just let us know if you do like this new format with Riley stopping me and asking me questions. Enough blabbering. Let's go into the charts. That's what Riley would say. No, would you say I do? I rant.
You ramble.
Callie's here too, if you can't hear her in the background. She just wants to be heard. So you guys are looking at GbpChf here. This is Wednesday morning, about 7 o'clock in the morning. I start my trading session every day, somewhere between 5 and 6 o'clock New York time. Sometimes I'm up earlier.
I was going to say 5. It's more like anywhere between 4 and 5:30.
But you know what's interesting? Like, as the week has gone on and I've been in this position and I knew that this was like my
You've been sleeping in?
I slept in today till like 6 because I was like, I don't think I'm going to take any trades today. And then look how small my watch list is today. It's just 2 more pairs. So there was really nothing today anyway. So it's like you start to get a feel for when
It's the first question I ask him in the morning. When did you wake up today?
Well, it's because you're looking out for my well-being and I appreciate you. But I'm excited. I'm glad to be up sometimes. So sometimes I am up earlier. But this morning, on Wednesday morning, I was up normal time, 5 o'clock. I got to the desk. The first thing that I liked was GbpChf. On my watch list on this day, I only had 3 pairs. It was GbpChf, Euro GBP, and USDCHF. They were the only 3 that I was looking at. Do you know the correlation between these 3? Like how they all work together?
Tell me.
So GbpChf, as you can see, like I came in and I was long biased. TDIs in the buy zone, EMAs are in an uptrend, and if you zoom out to yesterday, we had a really strong move off the 200 EMA, and even if I go to the higher time frames, just to show you, look at the EMAs here, look at the TDI in the buy zone, uptrend, 4 hour, 8 is above the 21, TDI well in the buy zone, right? So clearly, even on the daily, the 800 was on top, but that doesn't concern me. Look at it holding the 8, look at the, clearly it's long biased, right?
Yeah.
So I come to the desk and I'm like, okay, this is something that I like. Now,
It's interesting, though, how you like this one off the bat, because just looking at the 15-minute, I don't really like it.
well, that's because you're used to seeing A1 entries and you haven't really gone into the divergence course enough.
But even because it's oversold and the liquid...
Overbought.
That's what I meant. Overbought and the liquid 50 is dropping.
Yeah. Here, let me turn this on so you guys can follow my cursor easier. She's saying overbought right here and the liquid 50 here. You said it's dropping?
Well, even before that. Like
Right
it's,
in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sliding there, but this is important. So that's a good thing you bring up. Where is it though? It is falling, but where is it? Here's that 50 value. Oh, they can't see it because our faces are covering it. Here's that 50 value, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? It is in the buy zone.
Right.
It doesn't go into the sell zone. It doesn't drop under a 50.
Right.
So it's technically telling me to be long biased. You follow that?
Yeah.
And I know that the 50 EMA can be a really strong level for us to find trades from. So that's why at this point in the morning, TDI in the buy zone, EMAs in an uptrend, previous day's move at that blue 50 EMA, you just saw the higher time frame. So everything fed the long bias.
Yeah.
Back to the original question about Euro GBP and USDCHF. So this is GCHF. If we look at UCHF really quickly and we go back to Wednesday here, the 17th, you can see this was very much long biased as well. Look at the TDI, well in the buy zone, right above the 50. Look at the EMAs. You see price holding the 21 all morning. So GCHF, GbpChf, and USDCHF both have that CHF on the back end.
Yeah.
So you can expect them to sometimes move together. It's never always, but sometimes. So there, if I'm looking at both of those, you know, I'm not a big USD-CHF fan just because it doesn't move a lot and I don't trade it very often, but I do trade GBP pairs a lot. So instantly off these two, you know I'm going to lean towards GBP-CHF. The other thing with the correlation here is Euro GBP. So knowing what I just told you about the CHF on the back end, you see how this has GBP on the back on Euro GBP, but GBP-CHF has GBP on the front. If GBP-CHF is long biased, Euro GBP is going to be short biased right here off the 50 on the same day. Make sense?
Yeah, but why?
Because GBP being on the back end, on the quote end of this pair.
Yeah, but the euro and the CHF are two totally different pairs.
It just goes to show which pairs are being traded the most, which are euro, GBP, and USD. They control the market. So when you compare a GBP to a CHF, GBP is going to control that pair more than the CHF, in my opinion, just because there's more traders involved in GBP pairs in general. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Kind of?
Kind of.
So when you have euro GBP and GBP CHF, they're going to move opposite most of the time. Right? When I came to the desk, a lot of people were looking at Euro GBP to see it come off the 50 and come lower, but a lot of people also had divergence drawn. If you do look at this RSI from the previous day, you can see that that is rising and this is falling. Now that's a stretch because you're drawing it pretty far back, but look at how it does come from the 50 to that divergence line. It respects it really well. Mm-hmm. So with this divergence there, I know my risk reward is capped to that divergence line. It could fall through, which it does the next day, but I know it could also bounce there on this day, and that's the day I was trading, so that's the most important one. So right there, I just explained, if you followed me, and tell me if I went too fast, but I explained how I went from GCHF over UCHF, and now, because of this divergence, I would go GCHF over Euro GBP. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this was the one, no divergence in the way, and when we hit that 50 EMA, that's where I was able to go to the 1 minute, find decent risk reward. I got the D1 trigger signal, and that's where I took my position. What was really good about this, and you guys will see on the P&L, I'll put it on the screen, my entry was 124.13, so basically exactly where I have this marked. What was good was the risk was only 7 pips to the bottom of this structure, because if it was going to keep coming lower, like you said, where the 8 and the 21 cross down, I would want to get out because it would break this structure point here and start to come lower. Yeah. That's where we'd want to get out. So the stop is honestly easy to identify. Don't you think so?
Yeah, definitely.
Whether it's the D1 or the A1?
Right.
The stop is pretty clear. So you know the risk point. Now, the problem I feel like a lot of people do is they'll move their stop loss once they take the trade. You'll like bump your stop and be like, I could just move it down to here. It'll be fine. And then it tags you out there. You know what I mean?
Or like if it starts going lower a little bit, they'll be like, let me just move it a little more.
Give it more space.
Right. Give it a little more room to breathe.
But that's not how structure works.
Yeah.
So you can see from when I took the position, pain-free all day on Wednesday. Now, the issue with this, we're going to turn on the average daily range indicator, was that ADR was only 56 pips. You can see that over here. So where does it move from the 50? Right up to ADR. And it sat there for a while. At that point, my stop loss was locked in profit. So I was just chilling. I was like, okay, I took some off at 2R, took some off at 3R. And then when it hit ADR, I took a little bit more off. Now at that point, I was up like 6R, 6-1. So it was a great trade.
Yeah.
So you'd think, maybe get out of the full trade, but I'm getting better at holding these positions because I know that they can carry.
I would say that's not what I would think. I would think if there's no exit signal and you've already pieced out accordingly at 1, 2, and 3R, let the rest continue to run. You already moved your stop. Why get out fully if there's no true exit signal, you know?
Yeah, no, that's exactly why I do what I do. People see my P&L sometimes and they think like, oh, you took a bunch of positions, but it's not. If you look at it, it's one position with multiple exits. So if you look just in that first day, it moves 50 pips, 49 pips, so about 5.5 R. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So I'm able to get some at 6R, get a little bit more. Well, this is actually bigger. Hold on. This should be 7. That's 6.9. Hold on. 7. Yeah, so you can see here, 5R, and then 6R in the first day. That's what we got. Now, overnight, my stop was just locked. It held the 50, and when I woke up the next morning, we were breaking for new highs. So why close any of the trade? Just keep moving the stop up. Then I moved my stop up to this structure point when it hit the 50 EMA here, the low of day yesterday. Never came back to the low of day. So overnight last night, I didn't do anything with it. You can see this divergence now building in from the overbought RSI here to the RSI high today at the price action high right outside the Asian session. So when that sets up, a lot of people were saying like, oh, you should consider closing the trade now, Austin, you consider closing the trade. But what do you see about it that would tell you not to do that? Do you know what I see?
That it broke through.
Where?
The divergence? Well, I guess that would have been after you woke up.
Correct. So I woke up and I'm like down here. And they're like, yo, you might want to get out of the trade. It might be coming down to the 200 because they see the divergence. They see the 50 EMA break. They know it can retest the 50 and come down. But what do you see that keeps you long biased, do you think?
The liquid 50 is still in the buy zone.
Still. Just peaks into the sell zone right here. But it's in the buy zone majority of the day today. And look, literally from Wednesday, this yellow market sentiment line, since I got in the trade back here, where has it been?
In the buy zone.
In the buy zone.
And not only that, but like I feel like you would expect it to have a little bit of a pullback, especially seeing overnight how it kind of was just flat. Mm-hmm. like it's not just going to continue to go up forever.
Of course. So. But you're right. But that's why I like EMAs.
Right.
Because I think they give you good levels of like, oh, it might come back to here.
Right.
So when it hit the 50 and got under the 50, I knew it could come back to the 200, but I didn't see it coming all the way back down to my entry price. You know what I mean? So at the 50, it's a tough call. A lot of people will get short biased here since it's under the 50, but I will continue to ride the trend. I would rather miss a short trade and, you know what I mean, just not go short than, and in that sense, not go long as well, while I'm just waiting for a good long trade following that trend.
So where was your stop this morning when you woke up?
When I woke up this morning, I'll tell you where it is right now. Oh, when I woke up it's higher now. I have it. So today, when it broke out past that high set yesterday, 1, 2, 3 hits. As soon as it broke past that, I moved my stop to right here. So now if it comes back down here before 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'll get out here. But it still looks like it wants to go higher. It's still holding the 8 EMA right now.
Still in the buy zone.
Where I had my stop, exactly, last night, just basic structure. Like I'm not that complicated right here. As it broke out past the previous day high, like I just had it right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know it can come back to those structure points, but this is what I was looking at. So I have a couple of videos, you probably heard me making them, about my 2 candle rule for my zones. You see when that comes back to the 21 EMA, the 2 bars to the right and the 2 bars to the left of this pin are not lower. Mm-hmm. That shows me that that's a strong zone. Mm-hmm. What does it do today?
Respects it.
Bounces right off of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that like this is where it slowed down for the first time yesterday after the acceleration, after the momentum. So where would you expect it to pull back to? That first place it slowed down. That just makes logical sense.
Right.
You know? So it's been a really good trade. And I feel like making these recaps for everybody will show them that I'm not looking for 13 different moves every week. I'm looking to just find a trend and work that trend to the point where if you follow me and you're in the VIP chat, and you were up yesterday morning during the agent session, like Lindsay and some of the people, they were looking for longs in here. Of course, the TDI and everything is long buys, but they're just following my original trade from the day before. So you can keep riding that trend.
Yeah.
If there was an opportunity here during the New York session, I would have been considering it for another buy yesterday. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's find that trend and rock that trend. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
What other questions do you think people might have? Because I know I talk fast.
So maybe they're going to ask, now knowing where your stop is at.
Right here?
Yep.
Yeah.
When are you just going to kind of let this ride out now?
Into the end of the afternoon?
Because it's a Friday and you don't ever hold your trades over the weekend.
Right.
So at what point today are you going to get out? Are you just going to kind of let it run and keep moving your stop? Or are you just going to let it do its thing, and if it ends up coming lower, it'll stop you out? Or at the end of the day, if it's higher than it is at your stop, you'll close it then? Like what's your plan for exit today?
Waiting for a break of the 8, but it hasn't broken the 8 since it started to pick up at 7:30, 7:45.
Yeah, it's trying.
It's trying to, but it's really just basing out here
at
like 125.44. Like look at all those pins right here to that same price.
Yeah.
So if it breaks through the 8 and heads towards the 21, I'll close it there at 125.40 versus 125.30. We're talking 10 pips here. You know, it's not that big of a deal. I'm up 100 something in this trade already.
Right.
So it's semantics whether I get out here or 10 pips lower. It doesn't matter. But it's only 10:45. You know.
Yeah, there's still a lot of
still
time.
A couple more hours. It could go up to 125.70. It just needs one big bar. Look what it did right here. I mean,
but it isn't, because it is overbought now.
Yep, it is overbought. What's interesting though about the whole thing too, is because some people might have been thinking this from the first day. Look at how it breaks over ADR in the afternoon, right? Mm-hmm. I was willing to hold the trade on the first day because it never broke the 8 EMA, which made me feel like it could break ADR. So the second day, Thursday, ADR goes up to 64. It goes from 56 to 64. It's getting bigger. Yeah. What did it do yesterday? It broke it again yesterday.
Yeah.
So then today, would I think that it's just going to stop at 73? Maybe more likely than it was to yesterday, right? Because now it's moved up 3 days. It's increasing that average. Maybe the average is more accurate now, 3 days into it. But that still takes me up to 125.70 at least today.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? So you start to see pairs break ADR. Don't get scared of them. It's showing you there's more volume, there's momentum in it. I'm like, okay, let's lean into this and take advantage of this.
Yeah, it's still just like read what it's telling you. Everything's still in the buy zone. It hasn't broken the 8 EMA yet. There's no reason to get out of this.
If you look at it on the 1 hour too, just look at it even from like, here's Wednesday at 7 o'clock when I got in. Look at the TDI position. Look at the EMAs. They've been in an uptrend for, a week and a half.
Yeah.
Prior, So the uptrend to me was very clear. And even on the daily, like look at it on the daily. It's been outside the 8 EMA since January 12th, 13th. It started to really break out here, 11th.
Yeah, but even on the daily now, it's starting to show overbought, so.
That's tough, though. Overbought is tough. It doesn't mean it's going to come down. It means it might slow down.
Right.
But it doesn't mean it's going to come down because, like, really quick, just look.
I didn't say it was going to come down. I just said it's overbought now.
What does Bitcoin,
on the daily?
What does Bitcoin tell you? Look at me.
Yeah, that's a totally different beast.
Look how overbought this thing is.
You can't compare that. That's a totally different beast.
No, I know. You're right. 100%.
That's a coin.
Yeah, a coin.
No. That's not even a real coin. It's a virtual coin or
it's
whatever.
internet money.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on it. But again, small piece still left in. But I think it was a good trade. And now, reviewing it this weekend, going over it here for this video, and then carrying this momentum into next week, I feel like is the one takeaway that everybody should be able to pull from this. It's like, you don't need to chase and find 30 ideas. I had a couple of ideas. Like Monday I had none, maybe one. Tuesday I had like 3 or 4, didn't pull the trigger. I think that on Tuesday, like wanting to trade and having ideas but not pulling the trigger, then brings me in on Wednesday and like the universe gives me a good setup. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the market doesn't really care about you, but...
I like to justify it that way, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, if you follow the rules, then you get rewarded.
And even still just generating ideas to keep your mind sharp. That way, when you actually see something that's worth putting money into, like, you're there. You're sharp, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting. You know what I was just thinking about? We do these trade recap videos, and I feel like a lot of other people that are Forex traders on the internet and stuff, they would be like showing off what we're going to go do this afternoon or showing off what we're doing this weekend instead of actually going over the trade.
Want to see my Lambo?
Right. You know what I mean?
We should get like a little Matchbox Lambo car.
Put it in the background. Like, put it right
Want to see my Lambo?
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But instead, we take time on a Friday to go over the trade, which will actually hopefully bring you guys value and help you make better decisions next week. Be more patient next week. Be less caught up in the nonsense. I feel like social media makes you a bad trader to some extent. If you follow the wrong people, it can make you a very bad trader.
I just wish social media didn't exist sometimes, to be honest. But we're not even going to go there.
Me too. Really quick. Look at this thing. See, this is what I'm waiting for. We'll go back and forth.
It's cool, though, because Austin and I go over trades like anytime he's in a trade, he'll always break it down like this for me. And obviously, I won't necessarily ask as many questions as I did today because I want to help you guys understand things and think of questions you guys might have. But we always do this, so we thought, why not bring it to you?
You need to watch the divergence course so you can understand the D1s better at the actual entry point.
I started it, but I just...
Busy. Yoga.
Yeah.
Busy. But it's good. So we appreciate you guys giving us the time. Comment below if you have any. Don't what?
Forget.
Oh, Surfshark.
Yes.
Yeah, Surfshark. Sponsorship. You guys know the deal. If you have been watching our recent videos, they've hooked us up with a great deal. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can take advantage of that. It's the weekend. Go sign up, right?
Yes. If you are somebody that uses public Wi-Fi, whether that be at Starbucks, McDonald's, airports, maybe gas stations, I don't really know, but anywhere that has public library. Anywhere that has public Wi-Fi, especially if you're trading on your phone or logging into your bank account information,
don't get your password stolen.
Anything. Public Wi-Fi is not safe. There's nothing protecting you and your data there. Right. So just care a little bit about your data.
Really quick, the link for that is in the description, but nobody comment below and say that the lighting in this video is all fucked up. I know it is, but it was dark a second ago. It was going to storm, and now it's sunny. So, Florida. Deal with it.
We do the best we can with what we got.
Yeah. Not the video crew. We're the traders.
And back to the VPN thing.
Yeah.
You can change your location, too, to anywhere around the world, so you can watch shows on Netflix that aren't available in the United States.
Good idea.
It's a fun little perk.
The deal is crazy. 83% off, 3 months free.
It's practically free.
Yeah. So, go sign up. Link in the description. You guys will enjoy it for sure. But we appreciate the time, everybody. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
See ya.